Welcome back, fellow milk drinkers, to yet another Monday Milk Review. My name is Jacob, and today we're going to be checking out one of Oak's latest creations. It's the Oak Gingerbread. Christmas came early, it seems. We've got a very festive themed drink, which is coming out way before it even should. Of course, the gingerbread isn't strictly Christmas, but just looking at its designs, I feel like we can both tell it's obviously Christmas-centric. Just look at the color scheme if you don't believe me. Regardless of its weird flavor and early release, this is not the very first time that gingerbread has been approached by a flavored milk company. About 2 years ago, Ram, which is by Aldi, first approached gingerbread as a concept. My memory's very hazy on that kind of drink. A milk that I tried almost 2 years ago is very hard to recall. But if you're looking to get your hands on this one, I've seen it at Woolworths, and I'm pretty sure I've seen it at Coles too. It seems to be pretty widespread at this point, so you shouldn't have any trouble finding it. It may be at an introductory price of as low as $2 and about up to $3.20 if it's not on sale. But for those who are interested, here are the nutritional informations right now, but let's get straight into this drink. On the outside, of course, we've already talked about the very festive design. It's got a very nice green and red and with small white accent color scheme. If there was any doubt, I've just realized now that it's got Christmas mentioned on this side of the packet. If you want to pause to read it, here it is. Hopefully you can read that. Let's give it a good shake. I hate how, it gives me sass. Why don't they just obviously mark which is the obvious side to open it on? I just look at it and I see, about 7 words, and I don't want to read any of them. You just need to say open. But of course they give me sass and make me feel stupid about it. I could be looking at the side here where it does say open. Let's not talk about that. Don't focus on my own shortcomings. Let's open it up. Now, at first, let's get a very quick smell from the carton. It's not super strong. I think that's actually really promising. It's got a really nice kind of subtle ginger smell. I'm sure everyone's had gingerbread before. You know what it smells like. This is actually a pretty good level. I don't think it's too strong, and I don't find it faint. So let's pour it into the glass and have a look. As you can see, a kind of dull brown color. If I hold it up to the camera, that might give you a bit more information, but it's not bright. It's not anything you wouldn't expect. Let's give it a smell from the glass. It's quite a subtle smell. It won't stand out and it won't overwhelm you at first. Perhaps when you're going through the entire 600 milliliters, maybe, but for the moment, it seems quite pleasant. Whilst we're on that thought of the 600 milliliters though, do remember that Oaks are meant to be consumed in 2 servings. Let's give it a taste test now. Okay, there's a very weird undertone here. Of course, the gingerbread is the primary flavor. There's something very cool and refreshing here. Maybe it's meant to be like a mint icing or something like that. It's not an obvious mint, but there's something going on there that's very reminiscent of that mint menthol flavor. That being said, I don't think that's actually a bad thing. It actually makes it sort of a little bit of a different direction from just plain gingerbread. This sort of deviation of what I would expect is actually quite surprising. Perhaps I'm just really thirsty for some milk right now, but I would actually say that this is something that you could drink twice. I don't think this should be a permanent addition, but it's definitely a flavor that should return every Christmas period because I would happily drink this again. Which on that note, fingers crossed that I'm going to be able to find an Oak eggnog. Those have been around for ages and I've never seen them once in Queensland. I know they exist and I'm pretty sure it's in the southern states. One thing that I say every time, and I'm sure you're all sick of hearing it, Oak's thickness is always pretty reliable. One comment that I have heard people talking about with this gingerbread milk is the flavor gets boring after a while. Of course, the initial intrigue and curiosity of the weird flavor draws you in at first, but perhaps when you're nearing the end of the bottle, that's when you're gonna start to be at your limit. But then again, I think Oak is like that with nearly all of their flavors if you're trying to consume the 600 ml in one session. It's just a lot of milk to be drinking. They don't intend you to be drinking the entire carton in one session. It is meant to be split up into 2 serves. It started really strong and then very slowly just went downhill from there. I wouldn't say that it was a massive drop off, by no means, and I find that Oak just does that for me. I don't think they're the milk company that stays solid the entire way, and there's very few that do. Oak isn't one of them for me. If you're different, that's absolutely no issue at all. I just don't find Oak to be the premier brand anymore. Years back, I would have absolutely adamantly defended them, but for now, I'm a Norco boy. With everything said and considered, I think at best, I'm gonna give this one 7.5 out of 10. It doesn't exactly taste like gingerbread. There's something else there that I'm picking up, which to me is reminiscent of a mint flavor. I don't know if that's meant to be in there, perhaps that's just me, maybe I'm crazy, we'll never know. I kinda like that slight deviation. It sort of subjects what you would expect and actually takes it in a direction which I find more preferable. This being a bit more of an experience milk, I don't know if I can wholeheartedly recommend it to everyone. I think this is going to be something for the people who are really interested in the milk market and want to try something new. Average drinkers probably can skip over this one, but if you find yourself a little bit more passionate towards the weirder flavors, this is something that you shouldn't miss the opportunity of. I can nearly guarantee that this one's gonna go away at the end of the Christmas period, so get it whilst you can. Before we get into the very end of the episode, I just wanted to say that YouTube's requirements have changed and I'm now eligible for the community posts. I don't know all of the tools that I'll be now able to access. If there's polls, I'm going to be trying those out a little bit too. I think there are. But that about wraps us up for this week's episode of the Monday Milk Review. Thank you very much for watching. If you have enjoyed, why don't you like the video? It costs you nothing. Subscribing, please consider doing that. Thank you once again for watching, and I'll see you next week in the Monday Milk Review. Bye bye.